I'm from the United States, where a man can work his hands down to the bone, 40, 50 hours a week, and still be treated like he's disposable. I'm from a place where you take a woman out, pay the bill, play the role, and the night ends in a fist bump and a hug, while Tyrone or Brad takes her home. You don't even get mad anymore. You just sit in your car, hands on the wheel, wondering when respect quietly left your life. And here's the part nobody wants to admit. That humiliation didn't happen to you. It was trained into the system. Men overpaid. Men overvalidated. Men led with their wallet instead of their spine. And dating collapsed. Now fast forward. Those same men land in the Philippines, same habits, same desperation, and same need to be chosen. Except now, your money doesn't just buy dinners. It rewrites expectation. It distorts incentives. It poisons the environment for every man who comes after you. You think you escaped the nightmare. You didn't. You're rebuilding it with a bigger wallet and even less leverage. And if that makes you uncomfortable, good. Because this video is about how simps help destroy the dating back home, and they're doing it again. When a foreign man drops 100,000 pesos, he thinks he's being generous. What he doesn't understand is before and after. Before the money, a working guy makes 500 to 700 pesos a day. That's 15,000 to 20,000 pesos per month. Full time, 6 days a week. So when you drop 100,000 pesos in one move, you didn't help. You handed over 5 to 7 months of someone's life in a single moment. Now watch what happens next. The next time a man suggests coffee, she hears broke. The next time a guy says, let's take it slow, she hears insecure. The next time someone shows up with effort instead of cash, it feels like a downgrade because the reference point moved. You compressed a half a year of work into one gesture. That's like handing a broke household in the U.S. $1 million overnight and acting surprised when patience, effort, restraint stop meaning the same thing. Once the money hits, there is no rewind. You don't get to say, okay, let's go back to normal. Normal is gone. Men aren't judged on character anymore. They're judged on proximity of the last guy's wallet. Discipline looks cheap. Restraint looks weak. Connection feels slow. You didn't win her. You raised the price of entry for every man who comes after you. And that damage spreads quietly. Local men stop trying. Foreign men get treated like walking ATMs. Dating turns transactional. No meeting, no conspiracy, just cause and effect. One man overpays, the environment shifts. The next man pays for it. And here's the part that matters. Most of the men doing this think they're winning. They think money finally gave them leverage, which brings us to the real problem. If this behavior wrecks the market, why do men keep repeating it anyway? Here's the reason this keeps happening. Men aren't doing it because they're stupid. They're doing it because they're starving. Starving to feel chosen. Starving to feel wanted. Starving to feel like they still matter. After years of being ignored, dismissed, and treated like background noise, that first hit of attention feels powerful. A young, beautiful Filipina looks at you like you're somebody. She listens. She smiles. She responds. And in that moment, logic shuts off because that feeling of being chosen hits harder than anything you've felt in years. So you start telling yourself stories. Maybe if I give more, maybe if I show her, I'm different. Maybe if I provide enough. You think you can rebuild years of disrespect with a few big gestures and a thicker wallet. But here's the trap. You're not leading anymore. You're compensating. You're not investing from strength. You're paying to feel safe. Every time you throw money, what you're really buying is certainty. Certainty she won't leave. Certainty she'll answer. Certainty you won't be invisible again. And that's why this spreads. Because once the money becomes your language, you forget how to speak anything else. The attention feels real. The relief feels real. But the leverage is already gone. You didn't regain your power. You outsourced it. And guys wonder why local men are angry. They're not angry at women. They're angry because you disrupted the entire dating market with ignorance. You didn't just date her. You reset expectations. You didn't just help. You permanently changed how she sees men. I've watched it happen in real time. I'm sitting on a normal date, dinner, drinks, conversation. She pulls out her phone and shows me a message. A foreign guy text her, "I'll pay $1,000 just to take you out. $1,000 for a date." Now listen carefully to what happens next. The very next woman I take out, second date, looks me dead in the eye and asks for a new iPhone. Think about that jump. You don't go from survival to buy me a new iPhone by accident. That leap comes from conditioning. Some simp came through, led with his wallet, and blew the scale apart. You leave, but the expectations stay, and the market never goes backwards. Money never buys respect. It buys access. It buys attention. It buys temporary compliance, but it never buys respect. When you leave with your wallet, you don't become valuable. You become replaceable, and a replaceable men don't get loyalty. Money first attraction is like putting a band-aid on a gunshot wound. It looks like you fixed something, but underneath you're bleeding out. And once the change starts, you can't undo it. Money works like inflation. Once the number goes up, it never comes down. The first big spin becomes standard. The second becomes expected. The third becomes normal. And the moment you hesitate, everything changes. You weren't chosen. You were priced. Every woman on this planet expects some level of provision. That's not culture. That's biology. But provider and simp are not the same thing. A provider leads first and spends second. A simp spends first and hopes leadership shows up later. A provider's money reinforces respect. A simp's money replaces it. The moment money becomes the reason she stays, it becomes the reason she leaves. You didn't build value. You built a bill. You didn't escape the Western dating nightmare. You exported it. You ran from overpayment, extraction, and leverage-based dating, and then recreated it in a developing country with more money and less control. The environment didn't break. You did. And now the same friction you came running from is waiting for you here. Different country, same outcome. This isn't about finding a better woman. Markets don't change because one person is good. They change because behavior gets rewarded. If money is the fastest path to attention, money becomes the language. Switching women doesn't fix this. Switching cities doesn't fix this. Changing how you show up does. A provider removes confusion. He sets pace. He controls the rhythm. He lets behavior earn investment. His money follows structure, not emotion. And that calm signals something rare. There is no urgency here. That's where attraction comes from. Most men don't lose control on day one. They lose it 30 to 90 days in. That's when the pattern locks. That's when leverage forms. And once it forms, it doesn't unlock. The fix isn't going cold. It isn't clamping down. The fix is order, frame, behavior, investment. When the money stops being emotional, it stops controlling you. If you need money to feel chosen, you'll always overpay. If you need validation to feel whole, you'll always chase. This isn't about women. It's about who leads when nobody's watching. If you don't change how you show up, you'll turn every country into the same nightmare. But if you fix the order, dating works again. This is Asia Uncovered, where the truth hits harder than the fantasy you came here chasing.